Jeffrey Epstein. Let's go back to the origins of everything. Okay, who is Jeffrey Epstein and how did he begin? He was a teacher in the 70s, 1974, in a New York school called the Dalton School, the Dalton. He used to teach science and maths, physics and maths. But in that Dalton School, a lot of rich people had their kids there. It was like a school of the rich. And Epstein went and taught there. The headmaster of Dalton at that time when Jeffrey Epstein was teaching there was called Donald Barr. If you know US politics, you know that a guy called Bill Barr, who was the Attorney General during George Bush, and also was the Attorney General during Trump's first term. That guy, Bill Barr, that is his father, Donald Barr. He was the headmaster of Dalton School in New York, Manhattan, at the time when Jeffrey Epstein was teaching in 1974. But Donald Barr is very strange. Donald Barr was a CIA officer. Before the CIA was formed, it was called OSS, Office of Strategic Services. Donald Barr was a worker in the OSS. That is during World War II time, 30s thereabout. So after the war, he came back to the society to live a normal life. But what we know about CIA is that once you are a CIA agent or officer, it's for life. You are going to always be called upon to work for the agency at any time of your life. It's a lifelong job because you know too much. You either have to die or you keep on working for the CIA forever. So Donald Barr is known to be a CIA worker. Now this Donald Barr is known to have mentored Jeffrey Epstein whilst he was a teacher in the 70s in that school called Dalton School. He mentored Jeffrey Epstein. CIA agent mentoring a young Jeffrey Epstein. Now Jeffrey Epstein, he's actually an intelligent guy. He's smart. He's brilliant. Regardless of whatever character that he has, he's still brilliant. And whilst he was teaching in school, according to his students, they loved him. He was very good. And some describe him as he associating more with the girls whilst he was teaching because he was very young and handsome. They said he was very charismatic and the girls loved him. So he was always talking with them. You see them break time and the girls will surround him and he's talking. He was very charming and charismatic. Jeffrey Epstein. So I don't know what happened that made Donald Barr take Jeffrey Epstein in, mentor him or whatever. But this is what we know. In that school, Dalton School, I've told you that rich people had their kids there, right? One of the rich people who had their kids in that school is Alan Greenberg. He, for some time, was the CEO of Bear Stearns. It's an investment bank. So now, we don't know who introduced who to who, but Donald Barr, headmaster, who is mentoring Epstein. Right after Epstein taught in that school for 2 years, he was employed in Bear Stearns investment company in US, whose CEO at that time has their kids in that school, whilst the headmaster of that school is mentoring Jeffrey Epstein. So Donald Barr, headmaster of a rich school, another rich man in that school, Alan Greenberg, Donald Barr mentoring Epstein, now he passing him on to Alan Greenberg to be employed in his company. That was the beginning of when Jeffrey Epstein began to gain influence with the rich people. And during those times, gradually, he got to the point where he became friends with David Rockefeller. Now Rockefeller, that family, what do we know about them? What we know about Rockefeller family is that they are one of the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati. So now Jeffrey Epstein rubbing shoulders with Illuminati people, right? But Donald Barr wrote a book. He wrote a certain book called Space Relations. Now in that Space Relations book, he talked about something strange. What he talked about is the whole book is about an era of human civilizations where humanity has been able to colonize the galaxies. And so we have planets where some human beings are ruling there as their own government in that era of the distant future of human beings. And the story is about one planet called Kasar, where the oligarchs or the rulers of that planet, the human government of that planet, they become so powerful and so bored with their power to the extent that what they began now using to entertain themselves is child sex abuse and child sex trafficking. That is what the rich on that country, the rulers of that planet, that is what they do to entertain themselves on that planet. And in the book, a protagonist in that book was sent as an ambassador from Earth to go to that planet to go and stop them from doing all these things. However, when he went to that planet, he also got recruited into their practices that they do. And what do? They do child ritual abuse, sex trafficking of children. So you see what book he has written, and now in the future, you see what Epstein is doing, right? And we know that Donald Barr mentored Epstein. We now have a clue of how he started to go into these practices, right? Yeah, that is that. But who actually is Epstein and how is he? Look, Epstein is very smart, very intelligent man. However, he's also debased, corrupted. So Epstein is just like, you see, when you are in school, you can have one guy amongst you that every time you guys are fooling, you are running away from school, causing commotion and doing all sorts of stupid things. He's doing it. He's with you. But when it comes to exams, he's going to pass. He's very smart, but he's also corrupted. Because we think that smart people, intelligent people, academically brilliant people are also moralistic. They learn, they study, they don't sin. No. Some people are very academically brilliant. They're also corrupted at the same time. So as Jeffrey Epstein entered into these circles, he was using his intelligence and his smartness to give these people at the top some services. So Jeffrey Epstein was a very good fraud artist. If you are a businessman and you want to evade tax, if you want to file your taxes or create your budget in such a way that you'll be able to dodge taxes, you can call on to Epstein, and Epstein will sit down with you, crack his brains and all that, and say that, yeah, follow this method, you'll be able to evade your taxes. Be like, wow, and you pay him. You want to create a Ponzi scheme or any devious means of making money, or any investment that you think that this investment is tricky. How can I set this company up that I won't be arrested? No, call Jeffrey Epstein. He will use his brain to help you to commit your financial crimes. So he was that smart guy that was being used by the people at the top for their what? Devious orchestrations. But I told you something that is happening at the top here. I said the higher you go to the top, the more evil you have to be. The closer you have to resemble Satan. And the more evil you have to practice to keep you having power. Even the more you get to the top, the more you lose your humanity, where a demon comes to live in you. And you have to keep on practicing your evil. And what are those evil that you have to keep on practicing? Killing of babies. One, sexual harassment. All sorts of evil practices. That is the main practice of the people at the top, behind the scenes. That's what they do. So Epstein realized that, okay, this is what you guys are doing at the top. Nice. I'm going to service you in that area. I'm going to service you. I'm going to have an island. I'm going to bring the minors, the kids, babies there for you, so that you come and feast on them. Come and perform your rituals on them. That is why the Epstein Island, called Little St. James Island, it has a square building that was painted blue and white, and it has a dome, a golden dome on top of it. Very ritualistic. Epstein was a ritualist, just like how these people at the top are. He was a devil worshipper, worshiping of Baal. You know that Baal is a Canaanite god, right? That was being offered children, babies. God forbade Israel to do that. Now they are still doing it. Yeah. So Epstein is performing his services for these rich men. He's performing that services for them in order to keep them powerful by the master at the top. It's a normal procedure. It's a normal occurrence. So for us to do it, then we have to do it in a safe way, in a controlled environment where we are not going to get caught. And if somebody is willing to perform that service for us, of helping us cover our tracks, then yeah, you use him for that side of our needs. But I told you, the top here is maintained by two things, right? Secret societies, blackmail. Oh, so you are a baby. Epstein is recording it, right? And you are the CEO of this so and so company, and Epstein has that footage. Don't you think he's going to use it on you? He's going to use it. He's going to hold that footage on your head. That, yeah, I have this footage, therefore behave. So the service that Epstein was giving to these rich people on the island, at the same time he was blackmailing them with it. He was gaining power over them with it, in keeping them in check. However, is Epstein a man of his own? Isn't somebody who made him? Isn't somebody who mentored him? The person who mentored him, isn't he also from some organization? So it is said that Epstein was being run and financed, controlled by the secret intelligence organizations. I don't want to mention their names, that we know. Yeah. And those blackmail materials were being harnessed by them, the secret intelligence communities, the CIA, FBI, Mossad, NSA, those people. Because they have to put you in check so that this man, his administration and his agenda will be promoted on earth. You can't be given an agenda to practice or to enforce as Bill Gates, global depopulation, and you be like, nah, I don't like it that we should kill human beings, we should kill Africans. The COVID-19 shots, I'm going to talk about it. Barrenness in men, there's a correlation in Ghana. Yeah. So, vaccines, depopulation, all that. Somebody has to enforce it, right? Somebody has to finance and fund it. And you say that, oh, I'm the CEO of Microsoft, so nah, it's evil, I don't want to do it. No, we have the blackmail material on you. You have to do it. So people at the top, I told you that they are very restricted. This is where they are least free. You think you'll be free getting to the top? No. This is where they are most controlled. Because the agenda coming here, you have to apply it. With a blackmail holding your neck, you have to enforce it. So Jeffrey Epstein was performing his services. However, let me tell you this. Look, the sex trafficking commodities are in three categories. You have the young girls who are, let's say, from 20 and before 30. 20, 21, 22, 20, 24, 25. Around that time, and not below that. We have the teens, 14, 13, 12, you see, up to about 11, you see. And we have the ones below it, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, to the babies. That is a tier. Now, all these tiers of sex trafficking commodities, they have the customers that patronize it, 1. And 2, they have the use for it. Epstein was providing all these sex commodities for the rich. See? What they do with young girls in their 20s is different from what they do with teens. And what they do with babies is different. Harming of babies is very dear to the heart of Satan. Harming of babies. Why? Because it is one of the only commandments that Jesus Christ himself said that if you do, it comes with a consequence. It is the only sin that Jesus himself cursed. Harming of young children. So if you sign your soul to the devil, he will make sure that he will make you commit the type of sins that will incur the worst wrath of God on your life. And that is harming babies, harming children from the baby stage up to the toddler, above toddler stage. How do they harm them? This is where it will become too sensitive for me to say. Because you think that, nah, they just kill them. No, it's worse than that. A killing should come. But the more cruel you do it, the happier the demons in you, the happier Satan looks at you and promotes you and is satisfied. But the worst, the wrath and anger of God is incurred on you. That is a tactic that Satan, a strategy that Satan uses to make you further depart from God. The mercy of God is so high that it takes a very high sin for God to actually become angry at you, where you are out of the mercies of God. There are real people committing real sins that has incurred the real anger of God on them. what we do in our daily lives in churches. No, God is just looking at us. Please stop. Don't go further. Come to me. God wants to forgive us. I'm not condoning any sin, but I'm just comparing the type of sin that is so great that God himself will become furious at you. So that is what they do with the babies on these Epstein Islands and all that. Yeah. But there's one aspect to it. I told you about vampirism, right? Vampirism, vampire. That is a different aspect. When we started listening to conspiracy theories, there was one guy called James Casbolt. This era, many people don't know him. James Casbolt. He brought out a lot of secrets. One of the things that he said is that it is not just sex. This is how he described it. He said it's also the biting, it's also the sucking and all that. So during the sex, some things sound very far-fetched. Yeah. But they also consume you. Bite you, consume you. Yeah. They are not human beings at the top. Very top. I'm not saying all of them, but some of them are not human. That's what they do. Yeah. It suck the energy, life out of you. Go and check on somebody called Jimmy Savile. He was accused of pedophilia. Jimmy Savile, of having sex with more than hundreds and hundreds of children. Jimmy Savile was even going to the palace, the Buckingham Palace. He had connections there. Later on, as the case got busted open that he was a pedophile, it came out that even one huge hospital gave him the keys to the children's ward. They gave him the keys so that he would go there and perform his act of pedophilia on them. People should go into it. It's very serious. Vampirism. Yeah. There's also another case. It's called the Hampstead Kids. It happened in UK, Hampstead, UK. Hampstead Kids. Those kids came out and said the school where they were attending, on specific days, the school administration, all of them, would take all of the kids, a certain select group of the kids, but probably the majority of the kids, and take them to the underground basement of the school, a certain chapel that is underground basement of the school. And all the kids, male and female, plus all the school headmaster, principal, teachers, and all of them, imagine what they do. Feasting each other with the kids. Feasting on the kids sexually. Come and see kids doing it on each other, kids doing it on teachers, kids doing it, teachers bending kids down. Yeah. And as they are doing it, they are performing rituals, sex magic rituals. And one of the kids said, in the rituals, we cut the heads of babies. Papa Holly holds my hand, and he, it's dangerous. This is and they'll tell you, oh, this case has been debunked. So yeah, no, And something that he said, those kids, they said, is that how they dispose of the body of the kids, the babies that they've done their rituals on. They drain the blood, and they send the bodies of the babies to McDonald's food companies. They grind the babies and mix with the food that they sell to the public. So the public eats. Yeah, that is it. Very dangerous.